Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Reaction Channel. Hey, we're gonna watch some heavy spoilers, Paul. You sexy SOB. Hot daddy, you. Spider-Man No Way Home deleted scenes. If you guys haven't subscribed to Heavy Spoilers yet, do it. Recently put out this amazing Easter egg video featuring yours truly, and then like a bunch of nobodies. Cosmic Wonder, new rock stars, soups. Those guys even matter. Emergency Awesome, Grace Randolph, more. So many people he knows. I thought I was the only other YouTuber you were friend. Whatever, man. Anyway, let's check this out.
Okay, so the first major one that we know about featured Matt Murdock and Happy Hogan. In the film, we get a brief scene in which Matt tells Peter that the charges won't stick, but he then says Happy is gonna have to lawyer up because the feds are still coming for him.
What?
John Favreau, of course, played Foggy Nelson in the Daredevil movie opposite Ben Affleck, and the deleted scene was gonna take more of a focus on him and Matt Murdock. Titled Happy's Very Good Lawyer, the scene focused on the pair discussing his apparent illegal acquisition of Stark Tech and how it helped to fund Peter's terrorist acts. Yes, he did it. The murderer got away with it. Hashtag Mysterio was right.
Mysterio was right.
Stop.
Mysterio
We don't. That's all.
right.
Though we don't have the full ins and outs of this scene, it is theorized that there's someone opposite the pair and that this could be Foggy himself, played once more by Eldon Henson. Daredevil itself has now just moved over to Disney+, and with Kingpin showing up in Hawkeye, it does make sense that he would pop up too, though we're gonna have to wait until the full scene's released to know for sure. It's also been confirmed that Morgan Stark would have made an appearance during the scene, which goes over the stolen Stark Tech. Lexi Rabe was supposed to return as the character, and we would have got flashes of her during the montage in these moments. In addition to this, we were also going to get more focus on the interrogation scene with Damage Control, which would flesh out Peter's interaction with them. It would also showcase him seeking legal help and some of the questioning that was put towards Ned, MJ, and also May.
The main reason why I would have wanted to see that scene is if the Foggy from the Daredevil show was in that scene itself as well. It would be just so cool on that meta level to watch Foggy from the Ben Affleck movie interact with Foggy from the modern day MCU. And I think it would have worked in the sense of like how they're going around the interrogations with everyone, like Ned, MJ, seeing the consequences of what it's like to be associated with Peter Parker. That weight of consequences being placed on Foggy himself in the movie would have been cool, but if they're gonna bring up all this legal talk and whatnot regarding his involvement in association, I feel like the rest of the movie might not have been fleshed out enough to resolve that storyline. And as it stands, I think the Daredevil entrance with the cane coming into frame just makes for a baller entrance. So you couldn't just have that be the second scene. It just would have worked as well.
Yeah, then you would want a third scene and then more distractions. Like, oh, the Daredevil verse is coming back and all that stuff. Yeah.
Now we do have a big list of deleted scenes, and it seems like the majority of these center around things early on in the movie. This includes a lot montage, graduation day, an extended Doctor Strange entrance, and a couple more Daily Bugle reports.
TikTok.
Also, I forgot to mention in our every Easter egg video that when Peter enters Midtown High, it's meant to parallel his entrance to the school in Homecoming. The movie had him basically being a complete unknown as he walked through the crowd, whereas No Way Home has everyone staring at him.
Complete trilogy.
Filming the character on their phones and then head over to YouTube to like, comment, and subscribe. The best channel out there.
Good effects there.
Now these reports basically had people ringing in and talking to J. Jonah Jameson about how Spider-Man saved the day at several points in the movie. One was in the aftermath of the fight with Electro that basically talked about how he stayed there all night helping to fix the power lines.
Interesting.
Mr. Burke, you're saying you saw Spider-Man with your own eyes destroying multiple power lines?
Well, technically, he did destroy those power lines.
Well, there you have it, folks. First hand from an unimpeachable witness.
Wait, I wasn't finished.
Sorry.
Spider-Man was stopping this guy who was absorbing all the energy from the lines. Spider-Man stopped that dude, and then he spent the whole night repairing the damage. I saw it all.
Interesting voice
It was
performance.
amazing.
We'll have to circle back and confirm this, folks. We'll be right back after a brief word from Daily Bugle Supplements, the only other daily fix you need.
And we're out.
Okay, which one of you former employees vetted that nut job?
Now, I like that scene in isolation. I think just releasing it as a deleted scene works a little bit better because I prefer the movie where he's having to work so hard to make repairs. And if they had that scene in there, it would start making it feel like the public is coming back around to Spidey a little too early on in the movie. That scene at the very end when he does call into the Daily Bugle, it still feels like the world is against him right now. Yeah. And then in that moment, it probably would have relieved some of that tension of like, no, there's a lot of public support for him, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like, too, you would need to make that a more tangible through line throughout the movie, cutting more frequently to actual, like, callers into the Daily Bugle and make that more of a, you know, actual piece rather than, you know, what it is in the current movie.
Structurally speaking, yeah. But as it stands as a scene alone, I think it's a fun scene. I'm glad it exists.
There's also a bit on the Flash's book, Flashpoint, available in all good bookshops now.
He and I have been best friends for years. I mean, this is a school that we went together for years now. I mean, he's constantly following me up those steps, and, you know, we get into trouble. We do what we can, you know.
As if our public schools weren't dangerous enough between the lead paint, asbestos, and Salisbury steak made from military horses. Don't believe me? Check out my 4-part expose on dailybugle.net.
Actually, I would have liked that scene. that would have worked.
Beyond this, we also got a couple of seconds released in which the villains, Peter and May, all stand in an elevator together as they head to Happy's apartment.
Classic.
It's a pretty
That's a
fun
good
moment
shot.
of the full cast on screen together at the same time that I quite like because it's nice just seeing them having this Monday moment before it all kicks off.
Yeah,
the power
yeah,
cuts
yeah,
for May
true.
later on, so she can't go to the elevator. Doc Ock, Sandman, and Electro go out the window, and Peter and Goblin crash through several floors on their way out. This moment in the elevator was meant to juxtapose that and show them going up in a really sensible, normal way before all hell breaks loose.
Ah,
Now,
interesting.
apparently, this was cut because the director wanted to keep up the pace of the film and have us go from the Sanctorum directly to the apartment. We just had the mirror dimension chase, so John Watts wanted to keep everything at a high level, but I would have actually liked to have seen this play out.
Yeah, you see, like, that is a conflict because you got to factor in pacing and the structure of how your movie's flowing. But to get the shot of, like, all of them, excluding, you know, Tobey and Andrew, but to get the shot of all of them in the same frame would have just been so cool to look at. There's a neat flavor about that, as much as it's like a, like you said, classic joke of the awkward wait going up the elevator amidst the tension-filled moment. Still would have been cool.
You could just hear the audience, like, both trying to clap and laugh at the same time in a moment like this. Yeah.
I just like how Norman looks so enamored by, that's what elevator floor buttons look like.
As if we'd never seen one before.
We don't have those on our
Not on our Oscorp. We always take the stairs.
Time for a joke. What's Spider-Man's favorite day? Fly Day. What's Spider-Man's favorite month? Webuary. What's the opposite of Happy Hogan? Sad Hogan, because Aunt May's dead. Anyway, speaking of February, we now have our competition winners for the last month on screen right now. So if that's you, then get in touch with me at Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. Now, we also know from the concept art and interviews with the creative team that Mysterio was supposed to return in the movie.
Cool.
Come the end of the film, we watch as the multiverse is cracked open and several characters come across that know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. During the shot in which we get Kraven the Hunter and Scorpion, you can also catch the distinctive fishbowl head of the Master of Illusions, and the creative team confirmed it was indeed supposed to be him. Mysterio, of course, exposed Peter's identity to the world, and thus it does make sense that he was gonna be the villain that showed up. Concept art for the movie has since been released, and it shows Mysterio was supposed to duke it out with Doctor Strange at the Statue of Liberty.
Wow.
If we look at his powers, or rather illusions in Far From Home, they were actually based around Strange's magic, and it would have been great to see them face off against each other, even though Mysterio is faker than Iggy Azalea's accent.
I don't know if this has been confirmed or not. You guys can let me know down below. I've heard, at least, I think it might just be speculation, it was supposed to be Mysterio from another dimension, that Mysterio actually had
Has real
powers.
powers. That would make a lot more sense. Yeah. I'm like, what is he going to do against Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange should just wipe away the illusions and
Yeah.
chain him up or something. I'm just gonna throw my cloak of levitation. and we're done. We don't need to fight anymore. But I gotta say, like, it would have been a real delight because Mysterio is such a classic Spider-Man villain, and Jake Gyllenhaal was great playing him as well. It would have been a really great treat.
The creative team actually discussed this in more detail, and they went over how his appearance would have worked. Speaking at IGN FanFest 2022, they said how opening up the multiverse at the end meant opening up infinite possibilities on who could come through. They really wanted Mysterio back, but they realized that if they brought in one character, they'd have to bring in more. You couldn't just have one from the multiverse break through at the end, so they'd need to at least have a handful for it not to feel disappointing, but then it would feel slightly overwhelming.
That's true.
It ended up
That's a good
distracting
point.
From the main battle that was
You need
going
another
on,
act
and
to
in the
deal
end, they
with
just
that.
kept it simple with a focus on the 5 villains.
That's a great
We
point.
also know from the concept
That's a
art
great
that
point.
America Chavez was supposed to appear, and that she was going to be the one that brought Tobey and Andrew across. We have a scene at the Dodgems where she's standing in the middle with several characters around her, and America can also be seen at the Statue of Liberty battle. I've already done a full video on this, so I don't want to go over old ground, but she had
we talked
quite
about
a
that too.
substantial role in the film. Now, if you cast your mind back to the build-up of the movie, then you might remember that Tom Holland's brother Harry was supposed to be in a scene, but this too got cut. In it, he was a thief that robbed the store, and then Peter caught him and strung him up. It was at this point that the green paint was thrown over Peter, and he ended up having to turn his suit inside out for the fight with Electro. Now, we also know that Tobey Maguire was supposed to fight with the Green Goblin on his glider. The pair would stand together and duke it out in battle. That was somewhat reminiscent of the PlayStation 2 game. One of the big disappointments about No Way Home was that Tobey and Goblin didn't really interact all that much. And no, they could in a future film with him ending up alive. I did want to see them at least have a toe-to-toe at some point. The deleted scene hurts more than finding out that you only got $1,000, even though
the ad said 3,000.
Spider-Man fought Sandman, and the Amazing Spider-Man fought the Lizard, but the face-off with Dafoe was sadly missing. Their rivalry was one of the most memorable things about the original Spider-Man film, and I kind of hope that we at least get them on screen together again at some point.
Yeah, like the fact that they didn't interact at all when this all began with the two of them. This began with Tobey and Norman Osborn. Willem Dafoe. Tobey and Willem Dafoe. And I wish that we got something like that. If anything, I really just craved a dialogue exchange between them towards the end. The way that they gave one to him and Otto, I wanted one with him and Normie. We didn't even get that. That would have been cool to see, because did we get that in the original Spider-Man movie where they're fighting directly on the glider? I don't think we did.
Not directly on it, I don't think.
Yeah.
He uses it against him a number of times, but it would be so cool to see him actually trying to keep control of it while, duking it out.
Crawling around it too. Go under it around.
Messing it up with webs and
Swing
stuff.
around.
Anyway, that's all the deleted scenes info that we have released over the last couple of days, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you think things should have been cut or not, so comment below and let me know.
Great video, Paul. Fantastic video, dude. Still boggles my mind that they're messed up. Some of the shots are master CGI. It's just like, why? There's so much to visual effects I don't understand that I'm like, why not make it practical? I get mad at first, and I go, I'm sure they had good reasoning.
Go on a real scaffolding.
I'm sure there's a reason why they had to CGI. Yeah. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, follow Heavy Spoilers, check out his awesome Easter egg breakdown. I know for a fact he worked tirelessly on it. Many hours, and a lot of map hours went into that video, so please go check that out. I'll link it in the pinned comment. Yeah, let's do a
Spencer, it's nice to have you back. The multiversal void ripped open, and what did we get? We got our lovely Spencer back in our safe hands and arms. We're here, and we love to have you. I hope that you have had a good year thus far. I hope that you're excited for the home video release of Spider-Man. If we could all do a watch party together, I would love that. We could cuddle, put my arms around you. I could whisper things in your ear, do like a little commentary just for you, Spencer. Make it real nice and awkward for you so that you don't even want to come back next month. That's what I'm all about, man. I'm all about closeness and intimacy and Spider-Man. So hey, hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed Spider-Man No Way Home and weren't cripplingly disappointed by the fact that Norman Osborn and Tobey Maguire didn't get to interact that much. Hey, we're interacting right now, and that's what counts. So be well, take care, and we'll see you next month. Much love, buddy.
Spencer.